Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another Friday LinkedIn Live session with Empathy. I would say happy Friday the 13th. I know in Spain that's not the unlucky day. Fun fact, in Spanish, everyone thinks it's Tuesday the 13th. That's bad luck. But I think we're going to have good luck today because today we are going to be talking about breaking free from RAG innovation in commercial clouds, right? So allowing RAG innovation to take place without that dependency. So today we are joined by Angel Maldonado, CEO of Empathy Holdings, Marc Morera, CEO of AppySearch, David Suarez, our Director of Engineering, and Andres Doncel, one of our awesome backend engineers. So that said, Angel, before we go into all the details, can you show us how this works? Can you give us some demos about?
very, very quickly. But talking about showing something, I'm on the roof of Empathy's building here in Asturias, and I wanted to show you. That's the Well, I'm in the technological park. That's the University of Oviedo campus. That spectacular building in there. I don't know if you get to see it. Is the Laboral building. Yeah, and it's a beautiful day. Now, on that, I wanted to show you this from my phone on a phone experience. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully I can do this right. Start broadcast, and hopefully in a moment you should be seeing my screen. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Perfect, beautiful. So I'm going to go into a browser, and in this browser I'm going to show you three things very quickly. The first thing, three experiences that consume retrieval augmentation. And all them three are independent from any general commercial cloud, that is Amazon's, Google's, or Microsoft, which takes over 70% of all computational resolution worldwide. But not in this case. This is in that other 30%. The first thing I'm going to show you, I'm going to run a query on Fred Myers, and I'm going to, click on the search box, and I select a query called Ring, and I can see my results just as in any other. So this is a little floating window, as I am on admin experience, only for me as a admin user. But anyway, besides that, I can see my results, and I can also see on top of there some suggestions. Elevate your style with our beautiful jewelry. Say yes. Find the perfect ring to express your love. I mean, that sounds very appealing. These synthetically generated suggestions that I can click, for example, on one, I can see how the results are adapted to that, or I can carry on moving from a natural language prompt into a related tag. Anyway, that's one of those experiences. I want to also show you another one, because all this that we're doing is language independent. Now I'm in motivemarket.com, which is Empathy's business-to-consumer aggregation. We started in Asturias and in Madrid of local businesses. That is motive.co search plugin customers. Here I can run a query, and those queries that I run, they also consume and have the capacity of producing natural language sentences that in turn also can generate, of course, tags that can, melt into a search experience. But I can also go and show you, and anybody can do this right now. You can go to empathy.co's website right now, and you can see that on the top you have a little icon in there that is opens this prompt experience that offers this completely untagged private experience that I can run a query in here. I can say, what are related prompts, which I just showed you a moment ago in these two experiences. Now, these that you're seeing right now are is tapping into the search services that tap into Elastic, that offer us results. That's the retrieval part that then are augmented by those citations or sources that you can see in here. And those citations or sources then are used to compose this generative answer. Okay. Now this is very beautiful, and as I said, and again, you can click on those citations. Here we give you more details on the way Mistral is used as a foundational model. I can see this. Let me give a little bow to the wonderful people in eDocs, by the way, for this great experience. And then I can go in the search box. Again, now I'm in eDocs portal. This is the only developer portal experience that uses generative that we know of. And again, I can run those queries and I can have those experiences. You can also, and I encourage people who, because I don't want to take more time, but I encourage people to also force that to no results experiences and see the kind of things, beautiful things that happen there, and the retrieval augmentation, how well the concise capacity of that. But the topic is not that. The topic is that we are able to run all these advancements free from the very easy access that commercial clouds give you, to be able to run your innovations on retrieval augmentation. But it's enough of that for me, and I'll pass it over to you, Jordan.
Okay, thanks, Angel. So now that we've all gotten a chance to see how this works, the end result, I think now it's time to work backwards and find out from you, Andres, what's the nitty-gritty? What are the pieces of the puzzle? How did this come to be? How were you able to do this so that we weren't dependent on a cloud from a commercial provider?
Yeah, so hi everyone. So this is running in a self-managed virtual machine owned by API Search. And what we did was to deploy an architecture to allow to access LLM in order to provide generative AI experience. So we have, in this virtual machine, we have 4 components. We have the model weights. We are using Mistral in this case. We have the backend inference service to be able to serve requests using that model. Then we have an AI gateway layer that handles security. And finally, an application layer that exposes the server to the internet. And this is isolated from Empathy platform service, for example. So what we do is how to connect those different spaces. At Empathy's platform side, we have another AI gateway that connects to multiple providers, and we treat this self-managed server as another provider. Connects using this secured connection. And then any other team that is building a Gen AI experience can connect through our unified AI gateway. So other teams don't need to know the internal details. They only have to select which model they want to use. And that's it.
So it seems like you really found a way to do this so that it's intuitive and it's easier for everyone to adopt, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as we continue to work backwards, we've seen the demos. Now we know how it was implemented. But what about the reasoning? How is this decision made to break free from the commercial clouds? What's the background there on the process and why it was something that you wanted to do? And I think, Mark, maybe you can explain this the best.
Thanks, Jordan. Well, I think it's all about independence, not independence on all the parts, but in a few of them. In API Search, we started thinking about going to semantics and Gen AI on the search engine, on search experience. And one of the big things to think about was to get some GPU power. So there are 2 options: going to that private platforms or going to your own hosted GPUs. So in my case, I love being independent from what I'm using, not only in terms of economic stuff, thinking about long term, but as well thinking about the way I work with that technologies. So if I have to pay every time I use my GPU, And by the way, it's not cheap right now. Then what did happened, it was that I was very limited mentally working with that technology. I like to be independent of that feeling. I want to use my GPU. I want to use that service as much as I want in order to reach my own goal. And in terms of Gen AI, of artificial intelligence, there's no goal itself. The goal can be can be very, very, very large, and you never know what the goal is, because you can go always with bigger goals, higher goals. So with that thing in mind, I wanted to reach that independence, about thinking about what I'm doing, what will be the cost, and how I'm going to transmit that cost to the final user. So reaching my own GPU was very easy, was very, very fast. You only need that GPU with CUDA, that is an intermediate layer to connect with that GPU, and a single model. We are lucky because we have open source models, so we can work with them pretty easy. And that's it. And it's something that it works pretty good. Of course, there are some limitations, but there's some kind of limitations. We are actually working on that. But it's amazing how good it works on production. And I think that we have reached another level in terms of company working with that strategy, because our final product is going to be even better than it was before.
That leaves me very little to add. So thanks, Mark. But really, the reasoning, and going back to the question, Jordan, really is not only for this particular case, but we've done bigger efforts in the past from the engineering side to become provider agnostic, cloud agnostic, and we have that culture really applied to our also innovation side. So what we innovate today will be our production tomorrow. So if we from the beginning become free on vendor locking or provider locking, it'll be much better for the future when we want to run it in a bigger scale. And financially, also Mark mentioned a little bit on that. We also have a very strong FinOps culture in our engineering, and we know beating economies of scale against large providers is going to be very, very difficult. But we're not trying to do that. We're trying to be cost effective by being cost conscious, and a little bit what Mark described, right? So yeah, nothing more to add. Well, usually, and with this I'll finish. We usually think that sustainable is not always the easiest option or the more convenient one. So that is another reason behind this decision.
So it sounds kind of like a drop in the bucket still makes waves, sort of thing. Starting that way, and now we have 2 Angels and 2 Davids and a lot of us. Oh my!
This is how is it called, the virtual background augmentation?
Yeah,
Very high tech.
No, but this Mark, to your point, and David, yeah, it's not about the cost. It's about the mid long-term strategy, and as Mark vision in API search, API search, that this is opening a lot of possibilities, and it's going to permeate in incredible value. And with that premise, we need to make sure that whatever steps we take ahead, we have control, we have governance, and we don't create those dependencies. Another big point, maybe it's an immediate question. We got this question a lot. People say, hey guys, you are building all this retrieval augmentation independently from Google, Amazon, or Microsoft, whatever. But what happens with performance, and what happens with P99s? Hey, this is retrieval augmentation. These are not transactional systems. We are not trying to compete with a payment process. This is something that we don't have to have the same level of demand as of today as you will have to have on a search service. Remember, underlying on any AI, you're going to have a dependency on a search engine. And those you can still delegate on whatever commercial cloud. So it's a coexistence between the augmentation that you can operate and the retrieval that you can still compute in commercial clouds. Just a little note there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much to all of you for all that background, for the demos, for showing us how it's done. And, you know, of course, if anyone has any questions, Angel can answer them, David can answer them, Andres can answer them, Mark can answer them. I probably can't, but I can direct you to the right person. So please reach out to us. Feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. Leave us, you know, comments here in the chat on the post about the LinkedIn Live session today, because at the end of the day, it's not just for us. You know, we always want to make sure that other people are able to use the systems and the operations that we are choosing to use to help better your business and your experience. And, you know, sharing is caring, right? So.
Totally. And do check oi.empathy.co, open innovation, from where all this comes from. Do check the beautiful work that the people from Space Heater are doing also in the space. Beautiful work from Ben and Alex. And yeah, and thank you, everybody. Thank you all the Experience in AI teams. Very quickly this morning, updating what I was doing. I just saw it live in the demo. So thank you for that. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Andres. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you, guys.